Hello, good afternoon. Before we start the formal sessions, we first look at some news items, and this is a recent study by Amazon Web Services that says that 57% of content published online is already AI generated or translated using an AI algorithm. That's an astonishing figure, and that is potentially also very threatening because if all content is created using large language models and AI, then what is the quality of that content? Because it's manipulated content, it is not the original content anymore. So this might lead to erosion of the quality of the general available content, because this is where the models are trained on. This doesn't go for your private data, and if you use it in Copilot in an enclosed environment, then your data contributes to the high quality. But it is a kind of concern for the usage of data, and especially if law is going to prohibit AI training based on copyrighted data. So that's something to bear in mind if we look at how AI is developing and how large language models are developing. On the other hand, at the same time, we see that it is getting increasingly easy to use tools like ChatGPT. Creating a blog, and this shows actually how that's being done, is a 2-minute thing. It is select the topic, select your tone of voice, select the sources you want to use for creating that blog, and within 2 minutes you create a content stream. And this is also in relation to the previous topic, the erosion of the quality of topic that you can see in AI generated content and the overflow. What it means is that creating content and creating unique content will have incredible value, because we will see that there will be a overkill of general messages. And for the frequent LinkedIn users, you can see that you see many posts, many generic posts very often, and that they lose their quality. Yet the impact of what AI does is extremely big. This is how AI fueled Black Friday shopping this year. And according to research from Adobe Analytics, the enormous growth in or the enormous success on Black Friday this year in America was highly contributed to by the use of chatbots that were creating traffic streams by continuously pushing on the most relevant offers for you. And especially in voice conversations where they start talking, but also in online conversations using text, that seems to be turned out to be very efficient. So what you now see is that, I don't know if you have experienced it yourself, but I did at least, is that I've seen an enormous amount of targeted mails based on interaction with offers at various merchants, and this is the first time that you see, and that is where that staggering 1.800% surge in retail site traffic that Adobe saw last year, or this Black Friday. So we see here that this AI impact is very big. And that brings us to the start of this session. I see people coming in, we will start with the introduction of the session from here. We're going to talk about in this session about boosting B2B commerce with data-driven insights and impact. And we have a great agenda. We have a nice lineup of speakers. After my introduction, Peter Klinkhamer from Sparque.AI and Menno Engelen of LPMW will kind of do a duo presentation on how you can make AI intelligent with the right data, and how you can, in the case of LPMW, boost your sales with 400% as they plan to do next year. So this is an ambitious, bold statement, and we're going to hear from Menno how they will achieve that. And then we're very pleased to have Julius Robber from Microsoft, who will talk about Microsoft Fabric and how spot on in this theme of today that will lead to being able to democratize the access to data and make it available in your entire organization to become intelligent. And that will be followed by Niels Beitman from Intershop, who will show how that will all get together within that Intershop B2B core for advanced B2B commerce, the Intershop platform, and how that will logically enable the application of AI. And then we have a short Q&A, and then we start looking a little bit ahead to the next session. So if we look at the introduction of this measure step, it is actually not only about measuring. We get back to what actually is the 5-session program. Here you see the overview, and in January we're going to do the measure step, and I'm your host of today. And today I will present some of my models that we also use in this entire series of Intershop's roadmap to advanced B2B commerce. So we have been doing some of these sessions, but then not only the sessions, we also publish action papers after them. And what you see are the visuals of the 3 action papers that are already available. They are available for your download. And it's not only the action papers, it's also the recordings of the sessions and snippets from those recordings, so that they actually do become a real source of information for you. So after this session, we will also make that action paper for the measure step available. And the measure step is about applying advanced performance monitoring. Well, if we look at what that means, then we're first going to look at, well, actually a bit of CRM theory. The measure step is about enabling intelligent customer interaction. That is the step-by-step process from one-to-all marketing, where you only have socio-demographic data, one-to-many, in many cases that's where you start doing a transaction with a customer and get a better understanding of who or he is. If they start doing more business with you, you can build a profile that is based on their recency and frequency of their purchases. So you can distinguish segments and be more granular in your approach than just visitors or buyers. You can use various personalized aspects, and you can then build increasingly granular segments up to the level of 1. And that's where it really becomes interesting, and that is what AI is actually enabling at this point in time. Holistic individual customer interaction based on a customer profile. But that is a step-by-step process. That is not revolution, that is evolution, and we'll explain why. Of course, it starts with what you have defined and what we have discussed in the imagine stage. What actually do you want to achieve in terms of personalization with your customers? Where do you want to be in 3 to 5 or 10 years time in the level of personalized interaction you want to create? What are your targets then, not only in monetary value, but also on an engagement level? Because you need different parameters if you want to do personalized interaction. And why do you need all that data on that granular level? And why does that evolve in time and gets a more and broader data set? That is because you have to teach your algorithms and tweak your algorithm to provide your customers with the right content at the right moment. The best start you can take is start visualizing your data. The reason why you should do that is because then it becomes a kind of visual. Many people find it hard to understand figures and to interpret them. With creating visualization of these data streams, you can create an undeniable truth that is the same for everybody. The start, of course, of that is the traditional defection or conversion funnel that you build with your Google or traffic or site analytics tool. And that is, in this visualization, the step from what are the total visitors I have up to what is the number of packages I delivered based on that total traffic. But that's not all. That's only part of what you need to look at. Actually, if you want to look into the real value, you have not only to look at the delivered volume, but also with what comes return, what is being returned. So that turns out to be your net sales value. And that's the reason why many companies struggle with that visualization or building these funnels with Google data. But this is only half the truth. If you start looking at this data, actually there's a big difference between what you see for initial customers with different transactional and drop-off points during the process compared to returning customers. There's repeat customers, and in groceries that is a very extreme difference because almost all returning customers do buy or have a very specific, in case of large grocers, recipe demand and then do not do a purchase. So you see different drop-off flows, drop-off images based upon the relationship of that customer. So this is only the first step on how you can differentiate the view on those customer interaction patterns. If you just take a different look at it and take a horizontal view on it, you can suddenly create these data overviews that we saw at the beginning, these Sankey style views. And you see here there's 3 levels of customer relationship levels you can detect. And here you see that leads to different visualizations for initial and for returning customers, because the returning customers have a different entry point. Here your email marketing starts to take in account, in effect. And you have a different entry point. This blue one at the front side in this setup of this Sankey diagram is what are the entry channels from customers. And that is different for initial and returning customers. If you take a closer look why these Sankey diagrams are so interesting, it is that you can zoom in on them. So this is all customers, but if you have segment criteria, you can make the same diagram from that segment. You just drill deeper, one level deeper into the diagram configuration. And you can do that for initial and returning. You can diverse this view based on well, the kind of external source they enter your process, and see how many of them reach the next orientation step or the next level in their orientation on purchase process. So if you then do one step deeper, and this is a very high level overview, if you look at the left-hand side, these are the entry channels. This is where people come in. This is where they get to a search and where they come to the next step in the process. If you zoom in deeper on this, you can detect the individual pages or the individual interactions where they drop off and where they go to, well, either leave the process or go to a next step. And this helps you to, on each and every page, in every interaction, define what you have to optimize in order to make this flow of this specific segment or even this individual customer to reach the goal you want to reach and they want to reach, to make that a increased performance by adjusting that what makes them drop off at that point. So you can use those diagrams to create better flows and better performance. The next step is that if you start doing that, if you start differentiating on an increasingly granular level, then you need different KPIs. NPS doesn't work on a individual customer level because you don't register NPS at an individual level. And NPS is the result of the quality of the interaction that you have. In individual customer interaction, what you want is that you can influence the quality of the interaction you have with the customer. So you use different values to look at. You look at personal data completeness, because the more you know of your customer, the better you can serve them. If you know their birthday and date of birth, you can suddenly congratulate them with their birthday. If you only have an email address, that doesn't say too much. So the level of personal data suddenly becomes a very important factor in the data you want to have of your customer. The same goes for lifetime value. What have people, how is that value of people being built up over time in terms of the value of the purchase, the frequency, and the other one is interaction frequency. Because if there's no interaction frequency, then you can't influence behavior. So being able to influence the number of interactions is a driver for increasing the performance, and that will be reflected in the revenue you make on a customer, not only what you sell them, but also what do they return of what the cost of service for that individual customer are. And then there's customer engagement, and that is the most difficult one to manage in this day and age. If you look at these values, then the interesting thing is that you can detect that there's lifetime values and there's last 12 months. And those last 12 months show the progression you make and make it possible to manage and measure that performance in time. How do you now build those overlaying values? That's actually not that complicated. You need a data container structure underneath it that can work on that data what you already have available. And this also relates to the process of building these capabilities, because to account these data, these overlaying data, that management data, you need this underlying data, but probably you don't have everything available. That is not a problem in this configuration, because if you don't have it, you can still account this overlaying data point. It is a little less reliable. It is a little less accurate. But it also helps you see what kind of data you would need to make it more accurate. And that is part of the building and growing process. If you look one step deeper, we're going to look at, well, personal data completeness. What is actually what you need to configure a personal data completeness percentage? Well, you can look at what data do I need to have, what data do I want to have, and what data is nice to have. That's typically what marketers want. I want everything. I want to register everything. That's not in accordance to EU law that requires that you do in data minimalization, but that's what most marketers want. But if you don't know what you want to do with data, if you don't know how you can register or get to the data on a consistent basis and safeguard the quality, it is, well, practically worthless as data. Whereas what you want to have, the data that you know what you're going to use it, if you can get it from customers, there you can also provide those customers with very good reasons why they should share that data with you. So there's this accounting formula where that need to have data we just have used, and you can twist and tweak that accounting method. What's underneath that, and this is just a high-over example, is that, well, what do you need as need to have data? Of course, the name, the gender, and this can differ from organization to organization, but it helps you to define what is in those cylinders below that, and you configure your containers and that value. Therewith, you create a value that is highly relevant for your organization to look at overall developments and developments on an individual customer level. On the overall level, it provides you with a kind of dashboard. Values that you can use as a reporting value. What is the personal data completeness within your organization? I don't know how many in the call can, well, actually state how much that, what that value is. My best guess is, but most of you have an idea about what lifetime value is, but I don't think that any company or very few companies report on interaction frequency. In my discussion with other clients, we made that a top level KPI, because if you don't enforce everybody in your organization, hey, we have to think of how often we can contact a customer, because that enables us to influence behavior. And then it becomes a top level criterion, and that's what these data points are meant for. The interesting part, however, is that you can also use them on an individual customer level. These are exactly the same data points, and they determine and what you need to do with the customer in order to reach your goal with that customer that year. It is the same value that, in this case, determine the logic of the algorithms you use to target content. Because now you have objectives on an individual customer level based on your high level expectations. This, of course, requires also an infrastructure that enables you to do that in real time, because that is what this is all about. Content targeting on individual customer level needs to be able to do that in real time. So you need to have your measurement to create the criteria and to monitor and to determine the algorithms, and those algorithms have to in real time deliver that content, the right content to the right individual at the right point in time. And of course, that has to be based on where you want to be in time, what your ambition is, what your North Star is in terms of intelligent customer interaction. What is your ambition? And remember, you don't get there in one day. It's an evolutionary process. You start with the best guess in defining what your ambition is and how personal you want to get. Then you start to work with educated estimates, and then you get to real value potential calculation based on this increased data insight. And then you build your customer value dashboard, and then you start working with those individual customer scorecards. That is a evolutionary process. And today we're going to see that technology is not the problem in that issue, because Sparque will illustrate that, Microsoft will talk about Fabric, and Intershop will talk about how that comes into the Intershop platform, the core of advanced B2B commerce. The real challenge is getting that organized. Get the capabilities and mindset within your organization. So that's what this session about measure is actually about. We're going now to illustrate this with a use case. We had an interesting preparation session with Menno and also with Peter, who I can't see at the moment, but there he is. Menno is the young and ambitious product owner of LPMW's online activities. They deliver welding materials and equipment, and he's responsible for their online activities, and he's going to tell you what they are going to do, what their experience is, and especially how they are trying, what they will do to achieve this 400% growth. They're helped with Sparque.AI, and here's Peter Klinkhamer, who is a product owner at Sparque. And some of you might know Sparque. Peter will show what they do at LPMW and how that applies not only to LPMW, but in this case, what they achieved and where that will lead to. We are going to do a little bit different than you are used to us in the poll questions. There will now be a poll question in the chat. And you are asked to answer these poll questions right now or during the presentation, because we are going to use them in a discussion afterwards. In the chat we're going to have with Peter and Menno after their presentation. So please keep an eye on the chat to fill out the poll question, and I really encourage you to do so, because we're very interested into your opinion and into the status of where you are. So without further ado, I would like to hand over to Peter and Menno, and take it away, guys.
Sorry. So first a little introduce of Alles voor Lassen.nl or LPMW, it's the same. Allforwelding.com is a web shop specialized in the welding industry. We deliver all kind of welding supplies. The welding market is mostly offline, which means most of the people will call their order or call for the question, email us about the question or order, and they are not going directly to the website or to the web shop. So it's all by phone or by email. At Alles voor Lassen, we are constantly trying to get all these customers to our web shop and use Spark with assisting us for the recommendations, so that people don't have that questions anymore. With Alles Verlassen, we are currently the online leader for all the welding companies in the Netherlands and Belgium. Here you have a photo of our team, our online webshop team. We have an advertiser, we have a CRO specialist, we have a search engine optimization specialist, we have a content writer, email specialist. So we have a complete package, complete team, all kind of full-timers. I am responsible for the overall design and development on the webshop. In December 2023, we had a turnover of 25,000 euros. And last month, November, we had a turnover of 300,000 euros. So we grown already pretty big in less than a year. Our goal for next year is to have 4 times the sales of this year. So that is about Alles Verlassen.nl. And now it's Peter.
Yeah, well, thanks a lot, Menno. I will tell a short story about what Spark is and what we basically do for LPMW. Spark is an AI solution, and we mainly focus on personalized search, merchandising, recommendations, or one-on-one email. So what it basically the platform basically does is basically this. With Spark, you can control your AI, meaning that, for example, you can upload to Spark unlimited data sources, and we don't care if it is unstructured data or structured data. Just give or hand over the data to us. Out of that data, we map the data to the knowledge graph, which is essentially an AI method. And by doing that, we have a better understanding of your data and how it's being related to each other. After that, we make a strategy, and that's basically the AI algorithm, and we connect that to an API endpoint, and that endpoint can be consumed by any application. And by many companies, it's basically the storefront or an email service provider. So how are we going to build that algorithm? With Spark, we have a canvas, and on the left side, you do see a library, and within that library, you can basically drag and drop all the blocks within the canvas, and basically you can inspect each element of which you configured, and that's very useful to understand your data and to understand better what the results will be for your specific user. On the other hand, we have incoming params, and that params can be used or sent by the storefront or the application. And params could be such as user ID or channel or product identifier. And with those params, we are able to personalize the results real time. So basically, real time, we can generate on the fly your AI algorithm. What we are doing currently for LPMW is basically we are connected to the product detail page. We have recommendations up there. We are connected to the category page. We also have recommendations up there. We want to have cart recommendations. It's in scope, I think. It will be live within 1 or 2 weeks. Manu can talk about that. We also enabled the search option, so all the search results are personalized within the storefront, and we have homepage recommendations. Today, I want to talk about 3 different AI strategies which are running in the storefront of LPMW. And we basically have category recommendations, and within the category recommendations, those are displayed on the top of the category page. And we focus basically on 2 different items. So first of all, it's purchase history. So what products have been bought the most of this specific category? And we calculate this for every user, meaning that we use the total order history, but we are doing that also for the user-specific purchase history, and that's basically a mix. So if the user has bought products before, they will display it on top of the category page, which will help increase the user experience a lot. On the other hand, we have a sort of an algorithm implemented for new products, where new products that does also have a chance to be bought by users, basically. Because if you push all the products which has been bought before, new products don't get a chance to be bought, basically. On the product detail page, we have the frequently bought together. Also not for all the users, but also for user specific. So each result, each product detail page has different recommendations for different users, basically. And for the search results, we calculate first the relevance. So what products has been indexed by a search query, like helmet, for example. And those results will be boosted also by order history. We also look at the cart entries, like what kind of items are in the cart right now, and what has been bought frequently together. For example, if you have a helmet in your cart and you searching for gloves, what kind of gloves has been bought together with that helmet, in order to get more relevant results, basically. And finally, we have the dynamical facets. So basically, Menno and his team don't have to tweak and optimize each facet individually. We calculate them on the fly, basically, for each search result. I think I've done my 5 minutes job, Menno. Could you?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah, because the time is tight. So could you take it over?
Yes. Yeah, so how can we support our customers in the best possible way? Yeah, we have some challenges and examples of those challenges to help our customers in the best way. Is that we have yeah, different loads of customers with different variant of needs. Also, a thing in the modern world is that all the B2B customers wants to expect a B2C experience. So everything needs to be perfect on the web shop. We have a lot of products with a complex specifications. So we have 12,000 products in stock. We have 50,000 total in the assortment. And all those products are not the same, are all different, are all complex. And yeah, how do you get that right recommendation? Also, you have a very big variation in price. You have items from 15 cents and you have items from 15K. So yeah, how do you get there? Yeah, how do you get the best recommendation? What does Spark do for us now, and what will we develop? As Peter already said, the search bar and the product detail page recommendations. I have two pictures later this slides in these slides. The shopping cart recommendations are currently on staging, and the mail recommendations are we going to do in the next month, I would say. So as you can see, the search bar. First off, you have I'm looking for welding wire. You get 5 products. Then you have 5 categories, because in welding wires you have the stainless steel welding wire, you have the steel welding wire, you have all different kinds of welding wires and also types of process for the welding wire. So those are also already there. And you have also the other people who are looking for. So if someone was looking for a specific welding wire and it's not in the list above, you can also get it there. Our product detail page recommendations. As you can see, the first half is our shopping cart box, and below that you have the recommendations from Spark, from the purchase history of all the people together. Without the first product you see, you can't start welding. So you really need it to start welding with that machine. And your anti-spot spray, it's nice to have because your welding results will be better. So yeah, good to recommend that. Our current data situation. This image shows you a model of how you can structure your customer profiles, as Arjan already has shown. As you can see, there are different steps, and we have defined our profiles up to the, I would say, to the 1 to segments step. This already allows us to make highly targeted recommendations. These customer profiles are based on their purchase history, so everything is the purchase history, which also enables us to send targeted emails to customers. These emails will become even more personalized when we start using the recommendations from Sparque in our mail system. What are our short-term goals or objectives? Our short-term goal is to have a well-organized segmentation in the current data phase of our customer profiles and expand and innovate it in the future. Therefore, I would like to assist these customer profiles with Sparque with a solid strategy, so that every specific customer profile has a specific strategy out of Sparque. Additionally, we aim to develop a framework to identify where our customers disengage during their customer journey online or during their sales process on the website. What are our long-term objectives? When we are looking at our long-term goals, we aim to fully transition to that one-on-one phase from the picture earlier, where we have highly detailed information about the customer, such as company data, type of activity, specific needs, the technical requirements, the financial status, just a complete package. The goal there is to have to ensure that the entire customer profile is accurate, up to date, and fully completed. Another objective of us is to use these highly specific customer profiles to develop good strategies with Sparque. Additionally, to create complete customer profiles, it's essential to know the lifetime value of customers so that we can anticipate what to expect from them. By gathering all this information in a structured way, we can build customer profiles and enabling us to serve customers even better according to their needs.
Okay, thank you very much, Peter. Thank you very much, Mano. This was a instant stop of the presentation. It is interesting, the developments, and we had the prep talks of this session, where we had a couple of discussions on what it takes to enable this. And Peter, if I can ask this question to you, what are the challenges you see that companies come across when they start working with you and start working with these advanced algorithms for content targeting?
Well, basically, normally the data is not present in the right way, I would say. So, for example, if you take maybe even the most easiest example, like we all used to have universal analytics, for example, to have that as a data source to extract, for example, web search behavior, or to narrow down basically what the behavior of the user is for your online shop. Suddenly, universal analytics is, for example, out of date, and right now Google Analytics 4 has been used, but that has to be pre-configured, right? So you have to configure basically Google Analytics 4, and that's for most people a hell of a job. So to get the data right into a platform, and I don't care if it's Sparque or basically any other platform, you really have to rethink your question basically twice. So what are you trying to measure, and how do you want to do that? And most people think too complex, but basically you have to start with small little steps and to outline a few steps and basically do your thing to get those answers provided.
Yeah, I recognize what you're saying. I've been looking at a lot of data of companies, and always when we did a benchmark research for their online performance, we asked for their Google Analytics data, and they always started looking quite disturbed when we asked for, well, can you divide that into initial and returning customers? Can you also track that really to what you actually have registered as being sold? So I understand the part of get that data right and get that. In your opinion, what kind of steps did you have to take to get to this personalization and working with Spark? What did it make you aware of in terms of what kind of data you need, Menno?
I'm sorry, can you say it again?
What did you learn from working with Spark in the kind of data you need to have available and need to have structured?
I need to say with Peter, I think it went really well, the integration. We had all the data quite ready. The full order history was complete, and we delivered it to Spark, and they integrated it to their system, and it was really easy, I think, because our
Okay.
data was already structured of the order history.
Okay. And if you now look at going to the next level and building, well, the ambition you formulated,
Yeah.
what will that take from within your organization to make that feasible to get to that next step?
Yeah, I would say that if you look to the products on the website, yeah, all the things need to be completely how do you say, sorry, completely provided by all the information of products and of customers, and mostly on the product page we are missing content, and I would say all that kind of stuff, so we need to fill it so that we can so the customers can find the products even better using Spark. So if you use the filters on the search, if you don't have the properties right, you can't filter. So that all those things need to be complete, and that's for us a big challenge.
Yeah. And if you look at terms of benefits, and there's a question to both of you, what is the direct benefit LPMW has of what Spark has been doing so far, and where do you want to bring that in the next couple of steps?
So we don't have hard results of what Spark is doing, but I really do believe that customers are enjoying it, because you just see in the if you look through the orders, you see that there are more and more orders or bigger orders. The average revenue is higher of orders. So yeah, that's good. So you just that it's a good feeling, and yeah. Peter, do you have?
I think most companies who work with Spark are basically, it's not a challenge to make algorithms based on your order history, right? So every company has order history, has products, has categories, and so on. So for us, it's very easily to make AI on that, basically. But if you navigate a little bit deeper, so if you work with segments, for example, with the segments you just showed, Arjen, then it's getting a bit more complex, right? So what kind of strategy do you want to implement for which segment, basically? And especially the transitions between the segments. So what if a customer is going from a segment A to segment B? What kind of AI do you want to apply on that, and how should the AI react on those? Should it be, for example, products with low margin or high margin, where you do it more share of wallet, or maybe a higher chance to convert, basically.
Yeah.
So I think there is the difference, and there is also the challenge within typical larger companies who wants to do real, more with the data, basically.
Yeah, what I see happening is that this next best purchase and increasing sales, that is that as most data is in place as it is in creating higher engagement and get better content to your customers, then it becomes a little bit more difficult and more challenging. In terms of your technology infrastructure, Menno, what did these steps with Spark learn you there?
So if you look through the steps, we did not have any segmentation or things. And with Spark, we are just going more and more to that one-on-one phase. So yeah, that's the answer, I would say.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. This is given the sales results you were sharing. This is a very profitable steps you are taking, and you have great courage in predicting that it will more than double or double 4 times in next year. So we're happy to have you by the end of next year to see if that came true and what were the learnings in between. Yeah. So that is very much. In the poll, we see that most of the companies in this session have a kind of vision of on personalization. So that's the good news. And based on that question about the infrastructure, we now are going to hand over to our next speaker, and that is Julius Robber from, I hope I pronounced that right, from Microsoft, who can now take over the screen and share his insights on, how Microsoft is making data insight available for virtually everybody in the organization in a very easy and comprehensible way. Julius, if you can maybe also switch on your camera. I don't know if you have your camera on.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I hope you can see me all. Thank you so much for the quick introduction. I think we're not going to go through another poll here. Or do we have another poll? Because there's just one of the slides.
Yeah, we do have a poll question for you.
Okay,
and that is and people can scroll through the questions. If you fill out one poll, you are presented to the other. So you can actually manage yourself if you stay in sync with the presentation. So, please go ahead, Julius.
Yeah. Okay. Let me quickly introduce myself first of all. My name is Julius Ruber. I'm a partner solution architect at Microsoft. So I work with our most important partners such as Intershop. And I want to give you a quick overview today over Fabric, our data solution, and just quickly want to run you through the different parts. Now I didn't get, so we will have another poll, right?
No, but please go ahead. You can click through. The poll will be presented in the chat, so that's no problem.
Okay, perfect. Just want to make sure I don't mess up the system here. Okay, fantastic. So looking forward to the session today. Also please feel free to use the chat if you have any questions in between. So why are we talking about Fabric and why am I presenting you this today? So I think what we see quite often in organizations, right, is that we have they organically grow, which is great. But what happens with that is that we have a lot of specialized and fragmented solutions. So the data estate is quite complex. There's might be duplications, and there's just a bunch of different systems that are quite difficult to manage. And now, of course, with the era of AI coming and everybody wanting to make data usable and leveraging AI, it becomes more and more important to actually have this gold of the companies available and actually making use of it. And yeah, this is where the idea behind Fabric comes in place. And yeah, I just want to give you just a quick 10-minute introduction around what Fabric kind of does, to give you some more insights here. So what is the basic idea of this? So of course, yeah, we have a lot of different sources, and the idea here is to create an open system where you can integrate all this data in one place and have one unified stack here. So having an overview of the entire state to then make it available for AI applications. And the idea here is not just to have AI kind of as a side project here, but it is implemented in every step here, both having it as a platform for AI, but also leveraging AI to make use of this platform. And yeah, I'll give you a more detailed overview of this. So yeah, what does it mean? So Fabric is actually just a SaaS software, a SaaS platform, but it is yeah, basically 7 workloads included into this one SaaS platform. And here again, we want to yeah, each of these workloads are specific to specific people in specific positions, and they want to be best in class in each of these areas. So whoever is using it, that they're happy with this one part and can be part of the bigger data story of a company. So yeah, when we're looking at here, these 7 tiles at top, we want to just run you through them. We have things such as the data factory. First of all, this has over 150 connectors, so both for cloud and on-premise data, so making it very easy to bring your data into Fabric, having drag and drop experiences, and then actually being able to transform your data and making it available. Then, of course, an important part already with data engineering. So making it as easy as possible. Work with Spark, having instant live pools, and being able to collaborate here. Then when we talk about data science, making it as easy as possible to have like an end-to-end workflow to actually implement cutting-edge AI models, making here collaboration really easy again. And yeah, I think this basically how it runs through all of them. So when we talk about data warehousing, making it open data formats, making it as easy as possible to implement different data sources. Yeah. Then I think probably most of you have heard of Power BI, of course, a tool that's been around for a while. Here again, this is like natively integrated here, making it really easy to create visualizations, and not just by experienced Power BI users, but it is just a very easy solution. So also business users can actually create visualizations here. And then the last 2 parts, real-time intelligence, so actually making real-time data available. I think a really important part, and it's becoming more and more important. So having instant insights, triggering actions when things are going wrong, yeah, having this all in one solution. And then last but not least, I think what we're here also today is that this solution is very easily integratable. So we have a lot of partners we're working with, such as Intershop. So of course we want to have a very broad usability and bringing the data from all different sources in here. Harold? Okay, sorry, I thought you put up your hand. Okay. Yeah, so I think perfect. So this is, yeah, the basic overview. And I think what kind of makes it interesting here is that we have one over all these workloads, we have one central management. We have central AI tools such as the Copilot, making it very easy to navigate these tools, having one central data layer with one lake, and having the access management centrally managed through Microsoft Purview. So yeah, here one easy way to integrate all of this. Yeah, just to give you, I would have, of course, loved to also give you a more in-detailed demo today, but I'll show you a video later on. We won't have enough time to do a live demo in 10 minutes. We'll have to do that next time. But yeah, before that, I want to quickly just run you through some capabilities and on what the solution looks like. Yeah, so yeah, here everything is a SaaS solution, so making it very easy to manage things such as scalability, making it very easy for security and governance tools, since it's quite natively integrated into the whole Microsoft universe, where this, of course, always comes first. Then this lake-centric and open idea. So here, really, the idea is not to create another solution where the data is isolated. I think in the past, this is shown again and again that this is not the right solution. So the idea of Fabric is to make it as easy as possible to get the data in, but also as easy as possible to get the data out. So making actually use of it wherever you need it. I think the third part is quite essential as well, because it needs to be as easy to use as possible. So if people are using the tools that they're already initially using, so having built-in functionalities in Microsoft 365, having your reports actually where the business users are at, actually makes it usable. And then, of course, AI being all around. So Copilot accelerating, so having possibilities to work faster with Copilot, and being able to chat with your data, creating tools for this, and then of course having AI insights in every step of the way. I talked already about it for a quick second, but talking about, okay, how does it integrate? How do we get data in and how do we get data out? So first of all, how do we get data in? So the idea here is truly to get data from everywhere. So we have the one lake, which is our one data source centrally, and wherever the data comes from, we actually make it available through there. Having possibilities such as mirroring, so whenever there is changes, for example, in the other databases that we have automated updates, and they're visible in one lake. And yet down here again, you can see we have a lot of different tools, and so we can natively integrate. But there is of course, endless amounts of integration possibilities, but a lot of built-in things making it very easy to integrate. And then here the idea is, okay, we have this one place where the data is at, and then whichever one of the workloads is working with this data is working on the same data source. So within one lake, if we make changes as a data engineer, we put it back into one lake. If we have real-time intelligence, it's also on one lake. And then at the end of the day, if we, for example, in the gold layer, I have some data, it's also again here on one lake. And the same thing when we're talking about, okay, how can we use it? It's of course very well integrated into the whole Microsoft universe, but very importantly, we want to make it available whatever tool you're using. So of course, availability in third-party application being very essential. Last but not least, I want to talk about a quick example here. Let's say we have an organization in retail, just to kind of run you through the whole process. For example, you might have data in AWS or in Azure or in Dataverse. For example, Dataverse is natively integrated in here, so you wouldn't even need any ETL or any copies to happen. And so then you bring all your data very easy into one lake, making it easy for the data engineers. And then you can actually do data integration and warehousing in one central step. You do the data transformation, and here, for example, adding additional data information here, and on the same data and on the same central tools, then data scientists can jump in and do their analysis. And again, real time, let's say, for example, we have a retail customer having live data from a website or from IoT devices. We can then easily integrate here as well and create one business intelligence across all of them. So very easy here. If we don't have too much time, I just want to quickly show you a video as well. So here, just an example, kind of, okay, what does it kind of look like? Okay, we have different data sources that are all coming together into one lake, right? So here, wherever the data comes from, we integrate it into one lake, and then inside of this one lake, we do, for example, the cleansing and the forecasting and the enrichments, and then just get the data back into the lakehouse. From there, we can, for example, do the analysis and the training or the reporting. So yeah, having just one workflow, I think, makes it quite easy to work with here. See if I can jump forward. So 1 second. So and then in the later steps, for example, here we also see, okay, how does it actually work? There's a lot of pre-built functionality in here. So for each of these steps, you have a lot of pre-built functionalities, so you don't have to create your own notebooks for every step, and don't have to do pro developer things here, but making it quite easy to actually integrate things. And here we see an example how data is coming from all different sources. So for example, from Databricks, from AWS, out of Dynamics, out of different Azure sources, and so on and so on. And all of them being very easily integrated here. And now the video is stopping for me. I don't know if it's still playing for you. I think yes, sometimes with these 100 slides here and the videos in between, it's struggling with the live view. But let me just quickly summarize the end for you. But out of this, like all this data coming together, we can easily integrate it and create like Power BI dashboards just very easily here. So yeah, I think that this whole cycle is very easy going, and for each step of the way, yeah, making it easy for the users.
Mike, and Julie is also looking at the time.
Yeah.
Your next slide is very interesting in relationship to the poll that has been posted, because this is get started today. Maybe is the 60% answer to do you plan to use an integrated intelligent analytics infrastructure like Microsoft Fabric? So what is it what you would like to say in your next slide on that get started, Julius?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I think it is easy to get started and to get things going. So you can also have a free trial here. We have a lot of other additional resources. All the documentation is, of course, online. You can also see how you can create more values here on the link down here. And also get some projects and how we actually calculate, okay, the economic impact of such a solution, and also having some insights here by industry. So checking out how this can work for you.
Okay, thank you very much. This is very interesting. And one thing that is triggering me, and I talk to business architects and data architects and marketing people. How easy is this to use for marketing people, Julius, in your experience since launching Fabric?
I think at the end of the day, I think for each user class or type, it is quite easy to use. So for example, when we talk about marketing, I don't know where they would come in exactly here, but let's say, for example, okay, they already have some data engineers in the background actually accumulating all the data, but then actually enabling to get insights themselves is, I think, where this really comes in handy. So let's say you give the marketing access here, and they can create their own Power BI reports themselves. So for example, when they want to track, okay, how is a specific product doing? If they want to create some new campaigns, they don't have to go to some data scientists to actually create these insights, but they can do it themselves. So I think this is what, yeah.
And is this also going to be dialogue or voice enabled, just like I've seen in the demos of Copilot, that you can actually talk to your data and get the suggestions back on what to do and how to work with it, or what to do best?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot of functionalities coming to it, and there's a lot of functionality already in it now. So you can already do basically in each of these workloads, you can already use Copilot to help you actually navigate it. You can create SQL statements out of it. You can create dashboards out of it. So everything with natural language. So you could really be like, hey, write me a report about this and this and this, and it will create you one within seconds. So I think there's a lot of time saved here.
Yeah, I think that is, in my opinion, one of the things that will create an enormous efficiency in organizations. Being able to, well, talk to your data, that is a very interesting development.
Yeah.
We're going to do a bit of a Q&A after, more of a Q&A after we've heard Niels Brightman, because that's going about how this will all get into the Microsoft technology, but how will this also get enabled within the e-commerce infrastructure of Intershop? How does that work as a composable element and well, makes advanced B2B commerce accessible to many more companies? Niels, we skipped your introduction, or maybe you can give a brief introduction of yourself before diving deep into your slides.
Yeah, sure, thanks. So I'm Niels Breitmann, working as Director AI at Intershop. So they're responsible for our AI products, but also the internal use of AI. And I have brought today a practical example how the Intershop commerce platform works with Fabric. So here on this chart, you see the typical composable architecture with the front end, different capabilities. And of course, there are many areas where data is created and maintained. For example, you have the front end with the click data, user behavior. You have like master data for products categories. You have, of course, orders, baskets, maybe order templates in B2B. You also have order status changes, returns, inventory, but also search terms. And newly coming up is, of course, we now also have such an AI assistant, a co-pilot, and there you even have real user conversations, real chats. But the first question, of course, if we want to work with Fabric, is how can we get access to the data? How can we bring data into Fabric? And this is for most of the Intershop data actually pretty easy, because you have a component that's called the business data hub, and technically that's just an MS SQL database. And this way it's very easy to import it into Fabric. Of course, within Fabric, you can also combine the data with other sources of data, like your ERP system or CRM system. So if you look here, we see the data warehouse or lakehouse. And if you now look really into a live Fabric installation, here I've created some examples, and there you see different artifacts like reports, semantic model notebooks. And let's start with this lakehouse here, where we have really with just some clicks imported the data from Intershop, from the business data hub. So you see here data like categories, for example. So you see here all the categories, or of course, very important, order documents. So you have all the orders in here. You can have the data. You can easily share it with your colleagues. All can work on the same data, basically. And this gives us the opportunity, of course, to do very simple analytics with Power BI. Like here, you can have also a Power BI report based on the data that comes right out of the commerce platform. And of course, the nice thing about Fabric is you can easily collaborate. Everyone really can build a report. So it's very easy. It's like just dragging and dropping here, I don't know, a pie chart, and then fill it with the right data. Like here, for example, products. I can drag and drop like the names and see what products or how many products have been sold. See here, the Microsoft Surface Hub was the most bought product in this demo scenario. So very easy, and of course you can also right away share those reports with your colleagues. So that's an important part of Fabric, but we can go even further and do some little data science, and Fabric has a nice feature for that. This is called those notebooks, and in those notebooks you have also your data accessible, and you can build some little steps, and this is a little coding involved, so you can use some Python here to analyze the data, load the data like here with this simple statement. But you can also do some fancy things like building that's the wrong one, like doing some predictions. This is actually a pretty nice example that I built here. I took the revenue data and then predicted the next 30 days. So you see here the results. So the blue line is the prediction. You see it's a B2B commerce shop. So you see nobody buys at weekends. You see most buy at Mondays and Fridays. And you can use that to even predict on customer level what will be the next products that those customers will probably buy. And with that, you can build some nice personalization. So that's the other part. You can analyze and you can do data science and Fabric, but of course, then you have to use this again, the insights you learned, and use it again for personalization. And we did it in a little example with Sparque again. So in Sparque, we use then just Fabric as a data source. So we take the data from there. We pulled it into the knowledge graph of Spark on a little strategy on top of that. And the idea is here is just to, you have the average order frequency, you have the days since last order, and with that you calculate kind of a repurchase score. So this is the score. How likely is it that a customer will need a certain product soon? And with that information, you can very easily rank your products and can create such a little products you might need soon slider here in your front end. So this is really then the loop back, use the data to really do something smart with that. Yeah, and with that said, I would hand over to the question and answer session.
Yeah, thank you, Niels. I've got right away a question to pop in based on the poll results. This seems so dramatically easy all, and yet if you look at the poll results, only how intelligent is your e-commerce platform today? On a scale of 1 to 5, and the average score is 20%. It is on the 20%. It is on the lowest, on a low level scoring. It is not rating higher than 2 stars. Whereas this is a real, actual, very easy way. You made it seem very easy. Is it really as easy as this?
Of course, it's not totally easy, but it's doable, and it's also really the thing we can learn here. You have to break down the complex problems into simpler problems that are then solvable. And also an important learning here is to just start and get hands on the data. You have to play around with the data a bit to understand it better, and then you also get a lot of good ideas what you can do.
Yes, maybe Menno and Peter, if you can join this question session also, because isn't it so that once again, I talk to architects, I talk to marketers and to e-commerce managers. I often feel that it is not very clear who is actually the owner of this entire process. Is that something you recognize, Niels or Peter?
No, not really, I would say. Normally, the owner of the problem is the customer itself. And basically, within the customer itself, there is an owner who has to evaluate all the tools collaborating between each other.
I mean, we see also customers, larger customers, that they have data teams. So this is also a way some customers approach that.
Yeah. And Menno, in your case, well, you're actually, who's the one who's responsible for all the data and the AI applications, and who would decide to implement a fabric infrastructure in your case?
I would say that I am the one who is deciding what's gonna happen. But of course, that is you discuss it with your colleagues. But I would say for alles verlassen, I am the one who is responsible for what is going on.
Yeah. So also the kind of data infrastructure you need to do that.
Exactly.
Okay. I wish it was as easy as all my customers, because we always enter into big discussions on how to do that configuration. But given you, Niels also said something about starting small and build by learning. Is that something you recognize, Menno?
Sorry, once again.
Niels said we start small, but start working with data, and then you get the
Of course.
understanding of what you can
Just make small steps and try to get it more specific every time, and don't go into the deepest things from the start, but just make small steps and start.
Okay, that's great. What would be your biggest advice to all companies that are starting with you? You see them make this fantastic progress when they start using Spark. What is your advice for the next step, and to set that step, Peter?
Well, at least get started. That's the most important step. So when I work with customers, they always start very small, and that's a huge advantage, because then people do understand what basically is happening on their storefront. They get a better overview and a better feeling of all interactions between all the tools, basically. And if you put a new parameter on top of that, it's better understandable instead of making a huge complex plan and outlining all the AI strategies, basically. So at a specific time, you don't even understand it anymore. When you start immediately too big, you don't have the overview of all the activities, basically, and you can also not pinpoint the mistakes or the optimizations, basically. So that's why it's really important to start small and make small adjustments on that, and basically do your A/B testing and so on, in order to get a better feeling of the way you're doing the tricks, basically. So
Yeah. So the advice is start and with Spark that's easy. From the perspective of Intershop, because with Spark you take over the data and you help them get started. If you look at the customers from Intershop, Niels, what would you advise them to start progressing on this way and start doing experiments and get a vision on how to build your architecture? What would be your advice?
Yeah, actually, Intershop already provides the data kind of on a silver plate. So we already have like a data warehouse with the data. So it's very easy to get access to the data. We or even provide like templates for Power BI reports. So it's very easy to start with Intershop.
Okay, that's good news. This is the first time my session is not running. Does anybody of you would like to add anything to this this discussion of today? Do you have any last remarks, Peter?
Well, maybe I think there are many tools within the market, and each tool can do its own thing. And with each tool, you can make small steps. But the most important things I noticed with all the mentioned platforms is that they can support extended use cases as well. So you don't have to redo all the work, basically. You can start small, but extend it from there, and you don't have restrictions by each tool. So I think Microsoft Fabric has a huge capability to extend your use cases. Intershop does, and Sparque.AI does it as well.
Yeah. Any more insights from your side, Niels?
No.
No? Okay. Menno, is there anything you would like to add to this? Well, then we're the first time we're not rushing out of time, we're running out of time. We're having the luxury of doing a nice closure of the session. That's also. First of all, I want to thank you all very much for your contribution. Peter kind of wrapped up, and I think we all agree on what Peter's wrap up was. Start small. Start by doing experiments. Have a vision on where you want to go, so that everything you start experimenting on contributes to this goal you have projected for you in the future. But don't start with building the biggest thinkable system ever to reach that goal, but start small. Build and learn from the successes, and especially also the failures you have. I guess that is what we have learned today. If you do that, you can make magnificent progress, and I think that everybody who's working with these AI experiments, and that's why, well, the last question on how far and how intelligent do you that your operation is, and that goes in the lower part at the 40% or something like that. You can aggregate your knowledge, you can speed up, accelerate your performance just by start doing that, by start using these new technologies. And with Microsoft Fabric, that comes very close to existing operations if you're using Microsoft as a platform. Today's session will be recorded. Next week we will, for all the members of the community, also send out the action paper based on this session. And I would like to welcome you all and Harold is in the chat is putting some of the direct links to that. I would like to invite you all to the last session in this series of 5, and that is going to be about about how do you get your organization. We little bit touched upon that today. Who is responsible for this development? And yes, on an operational level it works, and if you're a smaller organization, that can be Menno, so anybody can call Menno to be the leader of the pack. But in bigger organizations, there needs to also be guidance on the top. There needs to be an infrastructure that enables this. And having seen what Microsoft showed, it also requires guardrails. What can people do? What may people do? What can you do to act responsible with data? That's what we're going to talk about in session 12. That's January 28th. And we hope to see you all, and please invite all your people from within your organization to join that session, and especially your C-level, because they're the ones that have to endorse everything that's happening in these experiments, to scale them, to build them, and to really facilitate that growth that you can realize if you start using that. I thank you all very much for joining, and we are here, and whatever you want to know or whatever more information you want, please reach out, and we're more than willing and more than happy to help you further. Well, that's all. Thank you very much for attending, and hope to see you next time. Goodbye.